Ah, the joy, the exhilaration, not to mention the plain dumb luck of finding the love of your life. For most, such a union would be more than enough to help us navigate the roadblocks and detours the universe is going to throw in our path.
Mark and Joanna Alpizar are one such couple, and as luck would have it, theirs is a union twice blessed, because their love for each other is matched by the passion they share for music. And as one might expect of struggling artists dedicated to the pursuit of their craft, they have schedules that keep them hopping. Joanna is concertmaster at the Southern California Philharmonic under Brandon Murazin. She's also a member of the Belmont String Quartet and the Mariachi Tesoro de Rebecca Gonzalez. Meanwhile, Mark serves as assistant conductor for the Long Beach Symphony Orchestra. He's also a member of the ensemble The Quintessential Winds, and he's the conductor for 2 youth orchestras. And on top of all that, they both teach. Joanna's private sessions take her far and wide.
Oh, I go as far out as Walnut, and then as far south as Laguna Niguel. I have a lot of students within Long Beach, Cerritos, Cypress. I have some in Anaheim, Fullerton, Irvine. I get around.
In addition to his private lessons, Mark is artistic director and conductor at Four Seasons Youth Symphony Orchestra and conductor at the South Coast Youth Orchestra. Joanna will lend a hand there as well when needed. They've been around the world with their youth orchestras. Yet in spite of the inexperience of their kids, Mark is still willing to take on challenging material.
I program adventurously, rather than just play staples or war horses of the repertoire, like a lot of other youth orchestras do.
Like Beethoven 5, things like
we
that.
do things like that, of course. I mean, we can't ignore those. To keep ourselves a little bit distinguished from others, is I bring in professional soloists for the concerts.
He will of course use student soloists on occasion and let them spread their wings. But one of his goals is to keep looking for ways to challenge his students.
I took that a step further last year. We actually did the world premiere of my friend's opera with that orchestra, and that was quite an experience, teaching them the skill set of performing opera and learning to appreciate opera and to accompany singers. It was just a fantastic opportunity all around. It was so much fun and extremely rewarding, and if I can be honest, super stressful.
For Joanna, teaching is also like payback. Her love for the violin was born on a school field trip.
The Long Beach Unified School District would take all of the 3rd and 4th graders to see the Long Beach Symphony. And it was during one of those concerts that there was a solo violinist. It was at that moment that I knew that it's something that I really wanted to do.
Even when her family didn't have the means, little Joanna's passion to play never waned.
I didn't have formal lessons until I was in middle school because my parents couldn't afford them. But I did a pull-out program at school in 3rd grade, and I was using a school instrument, and then my mom rented one, and I finally got my first violin, which is hanging on the wall over there, from AAA Pawn Shop on Long Beach Boulevard, and I was just so excited.
Joanna was born in Bellflower and spent the first 5 years of her life in Rowland Heights. Her family moved to Long Beach when she was 5. She now considers herself a Long Beach girl through and through. The city is in her blood.
Okay, Rowland Heights, got great food, but back then there wasn't really much. And we moved here, and I feel that's when my life really started happening. I would ride my bike to school every day. How many kids can do that now? Like, is it even safe for them to do it anymore? I don't know. But I would ride along the beach, and I knew my neighbors. They would always encourage me in my music. I was the kid that, I'm sorry, I was practicing. So they're like, no, you practice whenever you want. It sounds beautiful. That twinkle, twinkle, play it over again.
Joanna truly believes in the family of community. Her roots here run deep.
Spending so much time here, investing so much of myself into this, I can't help but love it. But I guess that's why I do invest so much, is because I love it. It goes both ways.
And the time she invests in Long Beach is significant. She's a member of Long Beach Heritage, an organization dedicated to the preservation of the architectural and cultural heritage of Long Beach. She served on the board of the Rose Park Neighborhood Association and was also a part of Jorge Rivera's Soul Searching project as their roller skating historian. And she's one of the founders of the Real Wives of Long Beach.
It started as a group of friends that happened to be at the same events in Long Beach, and then we ended up taking some pictures together, and one of us jokingly said, "Look, it's the Real Housewives of Long Beach," and we're like, we should make something of this. We should maybe go further.
An obvious spoof on the trashy reality shows littering our television screens, the Real Wives aim to put a positive spin on their affiliation and what they and others contribute to their community.
We see so many wonderful women in Long Beach that are doing things that are positive. And we just happen to think that, hey, you know what, our group of friends were really involved. We may as well highlight not just ourselves, but other people that we're involved with. All these other organizations that we're a part of. We're trying to make it something positive, because that's what's special about Long Beach anyways, right?
And Mark is front and center in support and admiration.
It highlights a lot of amazing things in the community. That's what they have really been doing. You know, I think that through the Wives of Long Beach, certain community events have been sort of boosted up. I mean, I can think of a couple where they happened just because of the Real Wives, really. You know, so pretty cool.
While unity and community is a concept close to Joanna's heart, she's still one who marches to the beat of her own drum.
I've always liked tattoos. My stepdad has one, so I grew up with somebody that had one, and then going to college and having some friends that had some really nice ones, and hearing their stories of what they meant to them, it just became even more appealing. And I always figured I would have a tattoo that was music related. It's kind of nice. It's like portable art.
Joanna confounds convention on the musical front as well.
Mariachi Tesoro de Rebecca Gonzalez. That is so much fun. I mean, it's something that I've always wanted to do.
Although she did go into it with some trepidation.
Went to my first rehearsal. I didn't know what to expect. You know, I'd heard that so many of them just learn by rote. They listen to the song, they come in there, and they already know it by ear. But that's not the way that I was trained in music. You know, you read the music, and then after grilling it and tearing it apart, then you can pull away from the page. And that's a long process. And that's made it kind of difficult for me, having to pull myself off the page sooner. But it's also helped a lot. It helps me with my classical aspect as well. It's helping me to learn faster too. In orchestra, I've found, oh, hey, I have that whole page memorized. Look at that. So I'm able to be more attentive to the conductor.
And one more thing she's learned.
I love that I'm also forced to smile when I play.
Mark's musical journey also began at an early age.
My love for music, I guess, began slowly. When I was young, I had piano lessons, and I was never the most serious student. And I think it's because with piano, it's an instrument where you're kind of by yourself and you're away practicing, and it's not geared, at first anyway, towards social interaction, and I was a very social kind of student and child. When I picked up the violin in 4th grade, it felt a lot more normal to sit amongst classmates. It felt a little bit more real, being in an orchestra and contributing to something greater than myself.
The clarinet eventually became his instrument of choice. He's currently a member of the popular ensemble, the Quintessential Winds.
We do everything from play in bars. We play at Whole Foods inside the bar, all the way through. There's, 700 people in the audience, and we're doing a 2-hour formal concert with an intermission, and everything in between.
While he continues to maintain his chops, practicing and performing, Mark's focus has shifted.
Now that I do a lot more conducting, the clarinet playing, it's definitely less. I don't really play in orchestras very often anymore, things like that, because I'm conducting them now.
Mark and Joanna's respective musical educations brought them both to Cal State Long Beach. But when they met, it wasn't exactly love at first sight.
Well, actually, I thought he was kind of annoying. We were playing an orchestra together, and one of our mutual friends was sitting right next to him. So they'd be chatting and laughing because their parts weren't as involved as a violin part where we play all the time. So they're back there giggling up a storm, and I'd turn around and I'm like, you guys need to stop. So that was kind of our first interaction.
After the initial animosity wore off, Joanna believes Mark eventually wore her down with that time-honored ploy.
He was using reverse psychology. He was ignoring me or paying more attention to my friends, and then I guess I was like, oh, this guy's interesting. Oh, I gotta get to know him.
She was the attractive one in the bunch. She's the one that always gets all the attention when all the boys come by. They're always the one that's, oh, it's Joanne. I said, no, I'm going to ignore her. I'm going to see if I can get her to be interested in me. And I don't know if that really worked or not, but she did end up asking me out. So.
And after 3 years of harmonic bliss, Joanna began to wonder if this was going to go any further.
I could tell, just she started acting differently, and we started talking about it a little more, and it seemed like it needed to be imminent. And also, my mother, even on our 3-year dating anniversary, she said to me, you know, I know you already bought the ring, so now might be a good day to give it to her, because she's probably going to be expecting it. I said, no, I have a way better plan. I'm going to wait. And my mom said, I don't know if you want to wait. And so I didn't, and she ended up being very, very upset that day, actually, at about 3 years.
Yeah, because I got a call that morning from one of my friends that she was going ring shopping on our anniversary. So I cried for a good couple hours, and then I kind of like, let the day pass, and the next day I was like, you know what? Maybe it just won't happen. Maybe this is kind of it. And I was just like letting it go, giving up.
And of course, she doesn't know that this whole time I have the ring in my pocket and I'm ready to throw it at her like, see, I have it.
we had been having the conversation, he's like, I'm sorry, honey, I can't afford the ring. Even though he had it, I can't afford the ring. I don't care. I'll take an onion ring. I'll take a Funyun. But you have to buy it back because I'm just going to keep eating them.
A few weeks later, they were on tour in Spain.
It was in an amphitheater, actually, so an outdoor venue after the concert. And I was just the assistant conductor at the time of this orchestra, so I just conducted the one piece. And so after my one piece, I called her up, and she was playing violin, and then that's when I got down on one knee and popped the question.
In front of over 800 people.
They were married in July of 2010. Considering all they've accomplished so far, it might be hard to believe Joanna's only 29 and Mark just turned 30. And yet, there is so much to do. In fact, Mark recently got some very good news. After a round of auditions for university doctoral programs in conducting, he's been accepted into the music department at Arizona State University.
I'll be starting there in the fall, earning a doctorate in orchestral conducting and opera conducting.
Joanna may take this opportunity to continue her studies there as well.
I plan to audition for my master's in December at the same school, so if I'm accepted, then I will also be studying there.
The life of a professional musician is a nomadic one. And while Mark and Joanna are prepared for wherever their adventure takes them, the move is bittersweet for Joanna, the girl with Long Beach in her blood.
I'm excited because it's going to be something new. Besides those first 5 years of my life that I hardly remember in Rolling Heights, I've only really ever lived in Long Beach. So it's going to be hard to leave it. It's going to be hard to leave my family. I have a very big family. And to leave my students, my violin babies.
There's always apprehension before embarking on a new journey. But Mark and Joanna have one big advantage. They have each other.
Definitely a brand new adventure for us, yeah.
Yeah.
This is the next step that needs to be taken, and I'm just happy that we get to take the step together.
And I really hope we can come back to Long Beach when we're done.
In the meantime, they do not plan to cut all their ties to Long Beach. Both Joanna and Mark will return on a regular basis to continue private lessons with some of their current students.
Here's quarter notes and
They want to maintain those lessons, not only for the income, but because their greatest reward is, in fact, teaching.
We love teaching, and that may be our primary passions, as a matter of fact.
I like that what I'm doing is actually helping to keep music alive. I don't expect my students to go into music. I don't expect them to be like me or, to pursue music in college and make it a profession. That's not why I do it. I feel like I'm helping them to know themselves through music. And I'm helping them to learn how to have self-discipline, how to be self-motivated, how to express themselves. I mean, I have so many students that come to me and they won't even say a word. They're afraid to talk. And then just by spending time with music, all of a sudden they're able to laugh in their lessons. They're able to make comments. I see them open up as little people.
Mark would like to take his teaching to the next level, which he will be able to do after he earns his doctorate.
I would love to, for instance, teach college at a good competitive college. I would love to do that. And that's sort of what I'm working towards. I would love to have a talented orchestra of students where you still have to work pretty hard because you have to teach them repertoire that they've never done before because they're still students, but they are very strong players and capable of doing things the first try.
And while teaching may be their ultimate goal, neither has lost sight of the fact that they themselves still have much to learn. Joanna continues to take lessons from Maestro Brandon Urizen, conductor of the Southern California Philharmonic, and concertmaster at the Long Beach Ballet.
There you go. And again, as soon as you get worried about the left hand, the right arm starts to move more. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, we don't want to take flight, my dear. So.
And she's not afraid to admit there's always room for growth.
Between the D sharp and the F sharp, there is a
Shout. Yeah, but I think it's in French, though. That's the only difference.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. Now,
As assistant conductor at the Long Beach Symphony, Mark could not have asked for a better continuation of his education, beginning with former music director Maestro Enrique Demecq.
Maestro Demecq left the orchestra last year, and so for this season, and for possibly next season, what they're doing is having a series of guest conductors come in. So this has actually been a dream come true for me. Although I learned so much from Maestro Demecq, it is a wonderful opportunity this year to be able to learn from somebody different every single concert.
An opportunity to learn is an opportunity to grow. Like any art form, an appreciation of music can instill life lessons and deepen one's empathy toward humanity. Joanna and Mark know firsthand that while music may soothe the savage breast, its charms can also console the wounded heart. When Joanna lost her Aunt Sonia to breast cancer in 2014, music played a part in the healing process.
That was really hard. That was really hard on our family. It was the last day that my aunt really opened her eyes and smiled and was giving kisses. But it was also the first day that my cousin Letty and I ever played together. And she was really nervous about it. She's like, oh, but you have all this formal training. I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep up with you. I'm like, you know what? You just do your thing. You play your songs that you like, and I'll just improvise with you. And it was so beautiful. All the family was in the room, and everybody was just holding hands or, holding her, my aunt. And a couple of the songs that we played that day, we played at the memorial. And I found that after that, my family was more supportive of our music too. We would come together just to watch, Letty play, and we would be together. Music would bring us together.
Music has a reach like no other art form. It can cut straight to the heart. No intellectualizing necessary.
Music really has the power to reach you emotionally, and not just in a happy way. It can be any range of emotions, any of the feelings in between. And that's really what makes good art, is the ability for it to reach us and pull out a bit of our humanity and present it to us.
Joanna and Mark believe in that power. They feel it every day. For them, it's personal.
Music is the only thing that I can do that I can completely lose myself. When I'm on stage and I'm playing, or even when I'm practicing, I'm not thinking about, oh, I gotta do this, I gotta drive here, I gotta clean that, I gotta whatever. No, it's just, I gotta make this note, this one note, sound beautiful. I have to make what I'm playing line up with all these other people. I'm part of the bigger picture. There's nothing else in my life that gives that to me except music.
Walt Whitman wrote that the powerful play goes on and you may contribute a verse. As musicians who are part of an ensemble, Mark and Joanna contribute to the overall composition of a musical number. As a couple, their love for each other contributes to the very foundation of their lives. And as teachers, they will continue to contribute to an even larger composition as well.
One thing that happened, actually, one of her students auditioned for me recently, and it was this little girl, I don't know how old she is, maybe 7 or 8.
Eleanor.
Yeah, and she plays
She's
this.
adorable.
I said, all right, honey, let's read this piece. How about you play this piece and let me see how you do, And so she starts playing this piece, Ashokan Farewell, and the melody is just very powerful. And as I'm listening to her play this audition, and she's just reading the notes on the page, and I just start crying, and I just start thinking about how beautiful my life is, that I get to shape these young lives and I get to turn their talent into something tangible. All of the things that I do and all my hard work were sort of crystallized in that moment, and I just couldn't stop crying, and I'm like, I have to finish this girl's audition, and I'm crying. That's how I know I'm doing the right thing with my life. It's moments like that where music tells me something that I couldn't say if I filled the volume of a book.